I am Huo Yuhao. Last time, I personally ignited the fire within my brother Dai Luoli's bloodline, forcing him to awaken his martial soul in a blood-soaked frenzy. After he awoke, I showed him the truth of his loss of control and the tears Xu Yun shed for him before quietly departing. At the Star Lue Empire's new recruit camp, watching Luoli train, hatred for my biological father, Duke Baihu Daihao, surged within me. However, the Sunday Moon Empire launched a surprise attack. Level -9 soul-guided artillery tore through the border. Daihao was in grave danger. Though I hated him, I couldn't stand by and watch. I risked infiltrating the battlefield, using illusions and my spiritual power to help him escape, even sustaining serious injuries to save him and his personal guard. After the battle, I decided to tell Luoli the truth. Through a blood recognition ritual, our bloodlines merged seamlessly. We brothers finally acknowledged each other. But the dark clouds of war haven't dispersed. To make Luoli strong quickly, I began training him with extreme methods. I dropped him from high altitude to force out his potential. Our journey has only just begun. The night wind cut like icy knives across my face, carrying the distinct scent of rust and thick gunpowder unique to the Mingdo Mountains, stinging my nose. That kid Luoli, when I dropped him from 1,000 meters up just now, his face turned sheet white, his legs shaking like a sieve. But the effect was undeniable. The crimson aura around his martial soul had visibly intensified. It seems this life-or-death stimulation really does work wonders for awakening his mutated martial soul. Almost there. Just a bit further, and I'd see the border. Suddenly, a dense, chaotic wave of soul power surged towards me like an invisible tide, instantly tightening my mental detection. The night sky ahead was no longer pure darkness, but dotted with countless floating points of light, like eerie stars in the night sky. The Sky Probe soul tools of the Sunday Moon Empire. Layer upon layer, they formed a giant net covering the entire border without a single gap. My heart lurched. This density was abnormal. Why such extravagance for ordinary defense? Sunday Moon Empire. What are you hiding? I took a deep breath, the cool air flooding my lungs. I pushed my simulation soul skill to its limit, merging my aura completely with the cold night. My mental detection scanned like a precision radar. Avoid that one. Carefully skirt around that special model emitting faint spiritual ripples. Each step felt like traversing a thorny thicket, one misstep away from triggering an alarm. My focus was intense, sweat beading on my forehead. Finally, the pervasive feeling of being watched vanished. I had successfully pierced through that suffocating net of light points. Ahead, the black silhouette of the Mingdo Mountains, like a slumbering beast, looked even more deathly silent under the starlight. Without hesitation, the eye of destiny on my forehead silently opened. An invisible, even more powerful spiritual wave instantly spread outwards, like the most sensitive tentacles rapidly sweeping over the vast camp area at the mountain's base that once belonged to the Star Lue Empire's Northwest Army Group. Empty. Within the massive camp, only the howling wind and scattered debris, not a trace of human presence. My gaze snapped towards the Mingdo Mountains themselves, and I instantly sucked in a sharp breath. Along the Regeline, dense cannon muzzles were clearly visible in my mental detection, like countless ferocious fangs. Over 3,000 attack points. The cold, metallic glint of the soul tools shimmered faintly in the night. But trod the people, the stationed army. Only the occasional soul power fluctuation flashing through the mountains indicated the positions of the soul masters operating these killing machines. This feeling, wrong, too eerie. A chill shot straight up my spine from my tailbone. Empty city. This was a damn empty city stratagem. The Sunday Moon Empire's main force. They blasted open our border, occupied the Mingdo Mountains, set up this ironclad soul tool defense and Skynet surveillance, not to attack Star Lue at all. They were doing it to blockade, to completely seal our eyes and ears, to make us think their hundreds of thousands of troops were squatting behind the mountains. ready to pounce at any moment. Feint east, strike west. Their target wasn't in the west at all. It was in the north. It was the Tianhun Empire. Using our Star Lua Empire's western front as bait, luring our forces and the Dueling Empire's reinforcements to foolishly gather here then. The Tianhun Empire would be completely exposed, defenseless prey. The Holy Ghost cult. Tote. Long Xiaoyao, swear, the main force of those evil soul masters must have already been secretly transferred north. Ruthless. A masterful calculation, Zhu Zi. Is it you? This move, Traveler, it's too much like your style. My heart pounded wildly. I spun sharply towards Luo Li, who still looked somewhat bewildered beside me, my voice turning hoarse with urgency. Luo Li, listen. You must go see your father immediately. As fast as possible. Tell him the situation here. The border is empty. The Sunday Moon Empire's main force isn't on the Western Front at all. Their target is Tianhun in the north. Tell him to urgently warn Tianhun. Tell the Dueling reinforcements not to come here, to go directly to support Tianhun. Hurry. Every second counts. Remember, don't mention me. Not a single word. No more words. I grabbed him, pushed my flight soul tool to maximum power. The engine roared deafeningly as I shot towards the city where Dai Hao was stationed. The night wind screamed past my ears, but it was nothing compared to the anxiety burning inside me. Safely delivering him to the city edge, watching him disappear into the darkness beneath the city wall, I finally breathed a small sigh of relief. I hoped it wasn't too late. I had to get back to Shrek immediately. This news had to reach Elder Xuan in the academy first. The sky over Dulua Continent was truly about to collapse. Dragging my weary body back to the room Luo Li and I shared in Yuming City, I pushed open the door to see Su Yun standing like a spear by the window, her back to me. She spun around sharply, her pretty face covered in a layer of frost. Do you two have any sense of duty as personal guards? Where the hell have you been all night? Suppressing the turmoil in my heart, I feigned helplessness and spread my hands. Battalion Commander, I am innocent. Luo Li. He disappeared not long after dinner. I searched for him half the night. No sign. I just got back to see if he returned and was going to report to you. Have you seen him? Shu Yun's anger was replaced by surprise. He's missing? When? I followed her lead. Just went out for a stroll after dinner. Never came back. The city gates are closed. Where could he go? Shu Yun frowned deeply, about to say something, when a sharp, piercing emergency assembly whistle tore through the dawn's quiet. Shu Yun's face instantly paled. She cried out involuntarily, "The enemy's here!" I quickly pressed down on her slightly trembling shoulder, keeping my voice as steady as possible. Calm down, it might not be an attack. First, gather our people, await orders. Watching her hurriedly run off amidst the assembly whistle, I sighed inwardly. Soon she was back, the tension on her face replaced by a strange excitement. False alarm. Not an attack. The Duke has ordered a counterattack on the Mingdo Mountains. Our reserve corps is mobilizing too as support. New recruits at the back. Safest houses, just to get a taste of the battlefield. Come on, with me. Counterattack the Mingdo Mountains. I froze for a second, then understanding dawned. What a Baihu Duke, worthy of his reputation as a great commander. It seemed Luo Li's message had gotten through. He believed it, and immediately made the most decisive move, besieging Wei to rescue Zhao. Trying to force the Sunday Moon Empire to reveal its true situation, to pin down its forces. A good idea. But was it really still in time? Zhu Zi's blade was probably already slicing towards Tianhun's throat. Following the chaotic ranks out of the city, our new recruit battalion was placed at the very rear. Watching the dark mass of heads ahead, feeling the tension and a strange, inexplicable excitement in the air, I felt nothing but irony. The real storm was brewing in the north, while here, it was perhaps just a futile diversion. Zhu Zi. My flight soul tool lit up again behind me, turning into a streak of light as I raced towards the east. towards Shrek at maximum speed. The scenery beneath my feet blurred past, the air screeching violently past my ears. After an unknown time, a familiar outline appeared on the horizon, Shrek City. Expansion sites were dusty, the towering outline of the Spirit Pagoda already taking shape in the morning light. But I had no heart to appreciate this prosperity. The heavy weight of urgency pressing on my heart made it hard to breathe. Finally, crossing the city wall, I landed by the Sea God Lake. The familiar humid air mixed with the fragrance of plants washed over me, dispelling some of the fatigue. Treading the familiar ripples of the lake water, I sped towards Sea God Island. The warm, majestic life aura of the golden tree eased my taut nerves slightly. Home. Finally home. Donger, if only you were here. Just then my steps froze dead in their tracks. My heart felt like it was clenched by an invisible giant hand, stopping its beat. My gaze locked onto a graceful figure walking slowly not far ahead. Pink blue, the color I longed for in my dreams. Wavy hair cascaded over her shoulders, flowing with a dreamlike sheen in the morning light. A pure white skirt set off her slender, captivating figure. That face that had appeared countless times in my dreams. Delicate features, pink blue eyes, long, curled lashes. Donger. Was it Donner? Ecstasy exploded through me like a bomb, drowning all reason. There was no time to think. All the longing, pain, and hope transformed into the most primal instinct. Donger. The cry burst from my lips, my voice distorted by extreme emotion. My body moved faster than thought. The soul bone skill in my left leg activated instantly. Space twisted minutely, and I crossed a dozen meters in a flash, opening my arms and throwing myself forward with all my strength, clutching her tightly to me. So soft, so warm. The familiar faint fragrance filled my nostrils. It was her. It was really her. All the anxiety, all the worry, all the heaviness vanished in that instant. Tears burst forth like a breached dam, instantly blurring my vision, scalding hot as they streamed down, dripping onto her silky hair. Donger, Donger, Donger. I called her name over and over, voice choked, as if pouring out months of bone-deep longing. The body in my arms seemed stiff, unresponsive, carrying a hint of bewilderment. The next second, a terrifying force like a volcanic eruption blasted out from within my embrace. It violently tore my tightly locked arms apart. Immense power shoved me back, stumbling. I looked up, stunned. What I saw wasn't the gentle gaze I yearned for day and night, but a pair of pink blue eyes burning with shame and fury. That face, uncannily similar to Donger's in its breathtaking beauty, now held only icy rage. Are you seeking death? A cry of indignant fury exploded like thunder in my ears. Immediately after, sounded behind her, and a pair of enormous, dazzlingly gorgeous dragon wings unfurled abruptly. The wings were a deep blue near her back, gradually shifting to a brilliant gold towards the edges, which flared out in wavy butterfly wing shapes, emitting a faint golden halo. A powerful aura of light and strength erupted instantly, compressing the surrounding air until it crackled. On her forehead, a distinct golden trident sigil blazed to life, her entire aura soaring instantly, like a descending war goddess. Without a word, she raised her slender pale right hand. A blinding vortex of blue gold light instantly condensed in her palm, a low dragon's roar bellowing from within. Carrying destructive pressure, the light shot out like a cannonball, tearing through the air, straight for my chest. Simultaneously, the blue-gold halo behind her transformed into countless streams of light, like a giant spiderweb, twisting and crushing towards me from all directions. An immense sense of confinement made me feel like I was sinking into quicksand. Not Donger, my heart felt like it had been stabbed hard, but this aura, this light attribute power, and that fleeting golden V-shaped light pattern on the edge of the dragon wing. That was the light goddess butterfly's mark. Impossible to mistake. But who was she? My body's instincts moved faster than my chaotic thoughts. My right hand shot up instantly, covered in diamond ice crystals, the Ice Empress's pincers. Red, orange, 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 red, red. 7 soul rings blazed with light. That terrifying blue-gold orb slammed into my icy fist. Boom. Ice crystal sprayed. Light exploded. The massive impact forcing me back several steps. The ice covering my fist shattered piece by piece, revealing skin. My arm went numb. Such power. The Ice Emperor armor's defense was nearly breached. A flicker of surprise crossed her eyes. Clearly, she hadn't expected me to withstand her furious strike. But then, the surprise was replaced by even fiercer anger. The light of her soul rings flashed consecutively. Blue-gold armor instantly covered her entire body, shoulder guards extending long, dragon wings growing even larger, the butterfly-patterned battle skirt at her waist, undulating like waves. 4th soul skill. Dragon God possession. Her aura surged again. Immediately after, the enormous dragon wings behind her snapped shut, rising high like 2 heaven-cleaving giant blades. Her 3rd soul ring blazed with light. A colossal blue-gold light blade, over 10 meters long and several meters wide, materialized out of thin air. It slashed down towards me with a sharpness that could tear everything apart, and an aura of utter destruction. The air screamed as it was sliced. Gravel and grass blades nearby were instantly pulverized by invisible sharpness. Light, Dragon God Slash. Enhanced by Dragon God possession, its power reached terrifying levels. Mental interference was useless against her. No way to dodge. Staring at the terrifying light blade descending to cleave me in two, feeling the immense power within it that was both familiar and alien. A crystal clear thought struck my chaotic mind like lightning. She was Donger. She had to be. The Grandmaster of the Haoshin sect, she was healed, but forgot everything, including me. No fear. Only a resolve bordering on tragic determination. I slowly closed my eyes, gathering all my soul power, all my spiritual power, all my longing, all my pain, all my love, condensed into a single point. My right fist, no longer covered in ice, was wreathed in a strange, soul-shaking golden aura. It moved slowly, yet with unshakable firmness, punching forward to meet the colossal light blade, capable of annihilating everything. Thoughts of Donger fist, thoughts gushing like a spring. Fist and blade collided in midair. No earth-shattering explosion. Time seemed to freeze for an instant. Clang! A strange metallic clang resounded. The colossal light blade abruptly halted above my head. The ice crystals covering my fist shattered completely. The skin was deeply cut by the blade's sharp energy. Blood instantly welling up, freezing into crimson beads of ice. In the extreme cold of my soul power, dropping to the ground and shattering. But I didn't retreat. My eyes remained tightly shut. That surge of emotion, gathering all my feelings, flowed like a torrential spring from my fist, along the giant light blade pouring relentlessly forward. Within it was our reunion at Shrek, the enchantment of Sea God Lake, the life and death bond in the Valley of Heart's trial, the gnawing, longing day and night. The giant light blade hovering in the air trembled violently, like water struck by a stone, rippling intensely. Tang Wudong let out a muffled groan, stumbled in the air, and the colossal light blade instantly disintegrated. She staggered upon landing, retreating 2 steps before barely steadying herself. The icy fury on her face was replaced by immense confusion and pain. She seemed to see countless memory fragments not her own, feeling that overwhelming flood of longing capable of scorching a soul. I slowly opened my eyes, letting the blood flow from my hand. My gaze pierced the space, locking onto her pink-blue eyes. Now slightly dazed, my voice was hoarse but resolute. Donger, it's you. You are my Donger. You are Wang Donger. Her body visibly trembled, breaking free from the onslaught of emotions, her eyes refocused. But the cold fury had been replaced by intense shock and a trace of barely perceptible panic. You. What did you do to me? Her voice held a faint tremor. I shook my head gently, letting the blood beads drip. I did nothing. I just let you feel my longing. My voice was soft, yet it felt like a hammer blow to her heart. She stared at me, her eyes complex. Shock, anger, confusion, and a trace of an inexplicable stirring. She couldn't understand herself. Finally, she gritted her teeth sharply. Her dragon wings spread behind her again. Her voice icy, she threw down a sentence. Utter nonsense. Don't let me see you again. Before the words faded, her dragon wings beat powerfully, stirring a fierce gust. Her figure shot skyward like an arrow, flying deep into Sea God Lake, vanishing into the morning light. I stood where I was, not pursuing. The sting in my right hand was nothing compared to the turbulent surge of excitement and sorrow within me. She left, but she felt it. She stopped her attack. Impossible to mistake. That light goddess butterfly mark on her dragon wing, the light attribute power within her strength that belonged to Dong'er. And that bloodline resonance, it was her, Wang Dong'er, her martial soul, fused with Chu'er's power? Or did Father use some method to heal her, completely reshaping her martial soul and memory? Why? How about it? See anything? A gentle, familiar voice sounded behind me. I took a deep breath, forcefully wiping the tear tracks from my face. I turned to see Elder Xuan walking towards me slowly, a knowing smile on his face that seemed to understand everything. My voice still carried a hint of hoarseness from the choked tears, but it was unwavering. Elder Xuan. She is Dong'er. Though she doesn't remember, her name has changed, her martial soul is different. She is Dong'er. I can feel it. My soul can feel it. Pausing, I suppressed the surging tenderness within, my expression turning deadly serious. But right now, to hear is something far more urgent. A crisis for the continent. Life or death. The smile vanished instantly from Elder Xuan's face, his eyes sharpening like a hawk's. Go to the Sea God Pavilion. Inside the Sea God Pavilion, the atmosphere was thick enough to touch. All the elders were present, their gazes focused on me. Elder Song, Elder Zhuang, Dean Yen Shaozhe, Dean Xin Leonard, Dean Chen Duoduo, Vice Dean Sai Mayer, Senior Sister Zhang Lexuan, Senior Brother Bi. Every familiar face was grave. I stood before the long table, no pleasantries, straight to the point, speaking quickly and clearly. Elder Xuan, esteemed elders, I have just returned from the western front of the Star Lo Empire. The Sunday Moon Empire's plot is far more terrifying than we imagined. The Mingdo Mountains defense line is fake. Their heavy investment in building Soul Tool fortifications, laying down that Skynet of Sky Probe's Soul Tools, wasn't to attack Star Luo at all. It was a massive trap, a masterful deception, a feint east to strike west. I took a deep breath, my voice carrying a barely perceptible tremor. Their main soul engineer legions, including the Holy Ghost cult's top forces, have likely long been secretly transferred away from the Western Front. Their true target is the Tianhun Empire. Everything on the Western Front was to lure Star Luo's main force, even trick Du Ling's reinforcements into rushing west. And now, the Tianhun Empire's defenses are empty, its gates wide open. My gaze swept over each elder's shocked face, my voice growing heavier. To cover this plan, to utterly crush any possible counter-probe from Star Luo, they even deployed a terrifying soul tool. I cannot comprehend. A forbidden weapon, the Death God's light. My eyes seemed to replay that world-destroying scene, my voice tinged with horror. Just recently, Star Luo organized an elite force of over 500 soul sages and above to probe the Mingdo Mountains defense. Just as they were about to make progress, closing into attack range, a pale white beam of light, like an eraser, swept across from a high peak deep within the Mingdo Mountains. Without any warning, without any sound, in that instant, over 200 soul sages, Soul Du Luos, that vanished, utterly turned to nothing. Not a trace remained. Gasps echoed through the sea god pavilion. I continued. The aura of that light carried the absolute annihilation of death. Just the residual waves brushing my mental detection nearly shattered my spiritual sea. I saw it with my own eyes. Even a titled Duluo would be like an ant before that light. The one who unleashed it was the Sunday Moon Empire's legendary strongest, the Death God Duluo. The soul tool in his hand is called Death God. This single strike utterly shattered Star Lua's offensive will and exposed the Sunday Moon Empire's resolve to hold the Western Front at all costs. My voice grew more urgent. Their plan is nearing perfection. On the Western Front, the Mingdo Mountains, with its terrifying Soul Tool defense and the deterrence of the Death God's light, has become an impassable chasm for Star Lua in the short term. On the Northern Front, the Tianhun Empire, caught completely unprepared, faces alone the onslaught of the Sunday Moon Empire's main soul engineer legions, the Holy Ghost, cult's evil soul masters, and the terrifying military might of that death god Duluo. The body sect is strong, but it stands alone. The Tianhun Empire, Twale is in imminent peril. The scales of war have tipped severely. Silence filled the pavilion. Only heavy breathing, audible. Elder Song frowned deeply, her voice grave. Yuhao's news is too shocking, but we haven't received any plea for help from Tianhe. Dinian Xiaojie interjected. I agree with Elder Song. The Academy, after the Beast Tide, hasn't recovered its vitality. The newly absorbed talents need integration. The top priority is to continue accelerating development, especially the soul engineering department. At the same time, we must immediately begin forming our own soul, Engineer Legion, based on the Shrek City Defense Army. Only by arming ourselves can we protect Shrek City. As for intervening in the war, we need careful consideration, more intelligence. Listening to the elders' discussion, a deep sense of helplessness washed over me. Observe Imamiyat's strength. This was indeed the Academy's safest stance. But over in Tianhun, blood was flowing every minute, every second. Juzi, your butcher's blade had already fallen. And Donger. No, Wutong, she had returned, but shrouded in mystery and icy unfamiliarity. I stood by the window of the Sea God Pavilion, looking out at the tranquil Sea God Lake. Yet my heart was churning like stormy seas. Star Luo's struggle on the Western Front, Tianhun's flames of war in the north, Shrek City's choice, and my lost and found yet estranged, beloved, Dutong. War. This intricate game of chess had only just begun. But no matter what, protecting everything I cherished, the Academy, my comrades, my family, and you, true Wutong. This was my answer, Ho Yuhao's answer. Whether the road ahead was mountains of knives or seas of fire or thickets of thorns, I would walk it. The continent would not easily fall. Wutong, wait for me. This time, I will never let go again. This episode has come to an end. Thank you for listening. I look forward to meeting you again next time. If we get over 100 likes and follows, the next episode will be updated right away.